Welcome to Worthy the Podcast, where we have conversations about what it means to feel worthy and what happens when we don't. I'm your host, Jessica Raimondi. Welcome to the Worthy Podcast. Today, I have a special guest, and it is a dear friend of mine, Danielle Dam. I'm going to introduce this beautiful soul. I cannot wait to get to talk to you today. So Danielle Dam is a certified professional coach, master practitioner of the Energy Leadership Index, and founder of From Unseen to Unforgettable. Danielle blends neuroscience, mindset mastery, and soulful strategy into her work, helping ambitious women break free from overwhelm and step into the lives that actually feel like their own. I love that.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Yay. So we met like a year ago.
Yep.
And you were training me physically, and
Yep.
It didn't take long. We were like, "Do you want to hang out?" You are magnetic for sure,
Thank you.
and it was such a joy to work with you in that way. And we got to know each other a bit.
Yeah.
And like now, a year later, you have, I know you were starting your coaching business then. Is that right?
I was actually, when you and I met.
Yeah, it was literally like a year ago. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you called me, I was already fizzling out my personal training clients. And when you called, I remember you calling me and you were saying that you were going to get back to me. Yeah. And I didn't hear from you for a week. And I was just like, whatever. No big deal. Like it's not something I'm trying to grow anyway. And then you called back and you were like, I want to start next week.
Well, I had that really crazy experience, right?
Yeah.
So I was really searching for, somebody. I had just getting back into working out again with a trainer here after moving here. And then I had that really weird experience with a trainer who basically was sexually harassing me. And I was like, no. But I remember videoing with you, like we had like a FaceTime or something.
Yeah.
And you were kind of like asking me these questions, and I was like, she's cool. Like, she knows what she's talking about. Right. And I was like, no, I'm going back to her. You just felt really safe and confident and knowledgeable. And obviously, like we just had so much fun.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to talk more about your coaching.
Thank you. I am too. I'm excited. I'm excited you called back that week.
Oh my gosh, me too. And now look at us, we're recording a podcast. I know. It's been a joy having you in my life. So I'm so happy you're here.
Feelings mutual.
Thank you. Okay, so you call yourself a life coach, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you clarify what that is exactly?
Yeah. So typically one would go after a life coach when they are striving for something beyond what they think they see the potential of something, but they just don't know how to get there. Right. There is some sort of limiting. There's some sort of limitation that's preventing them from reaching said goal. So that's when you would contact a coach, which is very different from a therapist.
Please elaborate.
Right. So in therapy, a therapist is able to diagnose certain symptoms. They use the DSM-5 to like pick out diagnoses and potential issues, anxiety, depression, things of that nature. As coaches, we don't do that. We help completely functioning adults to optimize. So we always work on the 2.0 version of your current self.
Oh, that's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really put those together. But yeah, I guess the doctors and even therapists or psychologists who are not prescribing
100%.
medicine are still using that same model, you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah. So psychologists typically don't incorporate coaching.
Yeah.
So coaching is more forward thinking. Psychology is more or less identify and dissect the past.
Ooh, say that again. I love that. That's great for our listeners to clarify. It really is forward thinking. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. So coaches are forward thinking. So we take you from the now to the future.
Ooh, yes.
Whereas psychologists is like, what made you this way now?
Wow. Of all my years doing that, like I'm 10 years old when I just kind of realized that is like the perfect way to explain a coach too. It's a bit more motivating in a way, it seems. So I'm assuming there's different kinds of coaches,
Yeah.
right? And different kinds of ways to become a coach. How did did you have to go through a certain amount of education, certificates? I think in Florida, like, you don't have to have it technically, right? There's like a
Well, actually,
you don't have to
so
have an actual
coaching
certificate.
coaching is a non-regulated
A
field.
non-regulated field, right?
So there actually is no organization that is creating some sort of parameter for coaching. So really, any person can call themselves a coach.
Yeah, and they do.
And they do. And that's why we have a plethora of coaches out there.
Sure do. We sure do. Okay.
You know, so there is schooling if you want to go into coaching and do it in a way where you're accumulating knowledge and skills and understanding the code of ethics and practices that are beneficial for your clients. There is the International Coaching Federation, which is an organization that kind of oversees all that. And there's schools that are affiliated. Yeah. I mean, it's never going to be regulated, I don't think. But that schooling, once you're under that ICF accreditation, typically that's what companies look for. If you're looking for leadership or corporate executive coaching, that companies make sure
they want to see that stamp of approval.
Exactly.
So to speak.
Exactly.
Amazing. Okay. And what is your education? Because I mean, I know you and I know how seriously you take anything that you are going after. So
yeah. So
where did you study?
So, well, I studied I have several certifications, right? The first one that I did was IPEC, which is Institute of Professional Excellence in Coaching. And that is also part of the ICF. And I did about like 4 certifications with them.
Wow. And with different like levels, topics.
Yeah, there were different topics. I think the first one was just general leadership, life leadership, like so how to become a self-leader. And then you had the ELI MP, which is Energy Leadership Index Assessment. Then you have the Core Dynamics Leadership Coaching, and then it goes on. There's like several.
Okay.
And then from there, I also went to a Master Health Coaching. Actually, I think that was the first one I did. The Master Health Coaching was the first one I did. And then I went into IPEC, and then it was Applied Neuroscience, and now it's the International Coaching Mastery.
That's incredible.
So it's
and
a
how
lot.
Long, like, have you? And you're still. I mean,
I'm still in it. I'm still in it. Yeah.
Which is so something like I believe that there's just no end game with, especially being someone that's in a leadership position or a position of helping others. I mean, it's endless. Same thing with yoga, right? I was like, you can't learn possibly everything in 200 hours that they require. And I think it's just a responsibility when we're dealing with people to.
And not only that, but like if you think about what you are preaching, right? You're preaching expansion. Right, you're preaching even in yoga, right? Like you're teaching, like, hey, you have to improve your practice by practicing. Just because you're a master yogi practitioner,
a teacher needs a teacher, right?
Yeah, like we all the mastery is never actually reached.
Never reached. That's
and that's the paradox, right? You become a master, but not really.
But being a master is just constantly learning.
Yeah, exactly.
No, okay, that really helps. I think that'll help our listeners a lot. And yeah, so given there's like. Obviously, we're inundated, I feel like, on social media with, do you want to be a coach? We're a coach, all these coaching programs. Why should we take this type of coaching seriously? What you do, life coaching, and like.
Well, that's interesting that you asked that, because I don't think if you can't coach someone who doesn't want to be coached.
Amen.
Right? So the only way that anyone would take it seriously is if they're serious about achieving whatever they're looking to achieve. Right? I don't know if that's answering your question or if you're asking about the certification. I don't know which one.
No. I just I think maybe the better question is to ask, like, what should people look for? Because if they're out there,
oh my God,
to kind of sift through.
Yeah, that's such a great question.
Right?
That's such a great
I
question.
mean? And like, are there things to like look out for? Where like, and it's hard to tell because everything seems to be promising. Some sort of, or is packaged pretty, or is said wisely, right?
Yeah. I think the best thing to say, or like the best tip I would give the audience is, always do the clarity call. Don't sign up for a program for the face value, because promises people are really great marketers. really,
that's
really
kind of
great
my point.
marketers,
Right.
you know, and they can be advertising all these things, but until you get on the phone with that person and speak to them and see if you even vibe with their energy,
I think that's really important.
you know what I
too.
mean?
Yeah.
And hence you and I,
100%.
like, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think it's important that you get on the phone with that person and really pay attention to the questions that they're asking you and see if they the type of coach that sits there and advises you and explains to you their personal path and how their personal path is going to impact your path. I would consider that to be not a complete red flag, but a yellow flag, right? I'm like, your path is unique to you, right? Your experiences, your beliefs, your life is unique to how you were brought up, how you experience the world. Your filters,
It's not one size fit all.
no, your filters are very different from mine. So who am I to say you need to change your filter, right? It's about opening up the aperture of filters and allowing you to pick which one to use.
So it's really supporting. It's like you want to look for somebody that kind of knows that you have that inside, like that you have that within you to open up the, like it's already there kind of thing.
Yeah, every person has their own innate wisdom. And yeah, so every person has their own innate wisdom, which will ultimately guide them. It's a matter of opening up that within you so that you can use that as a guiding force.
Rather than like telling them what to do, it's like...
So those are consultants.
Yeah.
You know, like those are consultants or mentors, right? If that's what you're... And
Right,
those are
and
great.
I was going to say sometimes like I think I need that for, you know, in business right now.
100%.
I think that would be amazing. Yeah.
100%. I think mentors and consultants are absolutely valid and important, especially if there's one specific issue that you're looking to solve. When you're thinking of hiring a coach, you have to remember and understand that the coach is there to coach the person, not the problem.
Ooh, yeah. That makes sense. That
Right?
really resonates.
Yeah.
Yes. The
So-
person. I think that's what I meant. It's like it's not cookie cutter, right?
No, it's not cookie cutter.
There's not a this, that, and the other answer for every person that's going to come to them with, you know.
Exactly.
And it might be similar. There might be similar issues, but
Yeah.
it'd be, like you said, coming from this different filter with each
Exactly.
person. Okay.
Exactly. And typically what is blocking you from achieving one specific thing is also blocking you from achieving something else. So if you're able to coach the person, it is almost like
It's going to translate into
into other areas, right?
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. That's a great way to look at it. And so people, you know, listening out there, I think it's important to just, you know, also, like you said, like interview, know how you feel, and literally like have that kind of intuitive feeling with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So what led you down this path of coaching? Probably a big question, but did you always know?
You know, I didn't always know. I had a feeling that I wanted to help people, right? I mean, in my past life, I was in marketing.
Right. Yeah.
And in marketing, I was, you know, while I was at the agency, I was in a cubicle working on my workout programs instead of looking at instead of doing.
People might be able to resonate with that.
And I'm like,
dream job.
Monday is leg day, Tuesday is chest. Danielle, did you do the status report yet?
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope. Sure did not.
No, but my workout program is complete.
You're like, dude, that's good. Get it. Totally.
Oops.
Yeah.
So that transitioned into the personal training life, right? And in that, one of the things that I found within the personal training realm was there was always one factor that prevented one person from achieving their physique goal, right? From someone not achieving it. And the one not achieving it was always mindset. Right? They just genuinely believed that they were not the type of person that could achieve X, right?
Because I would think it would be like, yeah, that's an interesting thought, because I would think it would be like laziness or time
It's not
management.
laziness. They would still show up. They would still show up. They would still do the workout.
Like,
yeah.
People like, letting it slide, inconsistency.
Yeah. Well, but
maybe it all has to tie to this.
It all ties to that, right? So if you're sitting there and you're saying, I'm not the type of person to have a flat stomach. Well, what type of person are you? Well, I'm the type of person that has a big belly, and that type of person eats chips at night, and that type of person does X, and that type of person does this. You create this self-concept around that belief that ultimately kind
Prevent
of
you from having, or-
it's evidence, right? It's further evidence of that belief. Because our minds work that way. Our minds want to be proven right. Our ego wants to be proven right. So your mind will do whatever it takes to make sure that your ego is safe.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
yeah. So the people who were like, okay, right now, I'm not the type of person to have a flat stomach, but I know that if I do the work, I will get there, and I'm doing the work right now to get me there, and I'm going to be there in a matter of time.
That really resonates because fitness has been a part of my life forever, but I have really struggled with reaching goals and consistency. I mean, we even fell into that one, especially when I was traveling a lot and like coming back to it. It's like, and that could be an excuse, but I feel like, I've always struggled to get to that finish line of something. I was just thinking as I was working out today, I was like, oh, I should call Danielle. We should get back to it. And then I'm like, well, am I ready for that? Like, is that what is that what I'm going to show up for right now? And then I was thinking about these other, like trainings and courses that I've purchased over the years for a lot of money, like getting me towards, press handstands and, some other things that I think I purchased during COVID. But I mean, all I had to do was just complete these weeks.
Yeah.
And I just didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So then you have to ask yourself, what story are you telling yourself about that? Are you telling yourself right now as we're sitting here, are you telling yourself, I'm the type of person that buys things in the beginning, starts, and doesn't finish?
100%.
Yeah. So that's the type of person that you will be forever.
I don't know if I'm I don't know if I'm telling myself that or it's just this deep embedded subconscious belief. Is that
it's not subconscious because you just pointed it out.
Okay. That's good news, right?
Right. You're aware of it.
Yeah.
You're aware of it. So now it's what you're going to do with that pattern. You can, now that you're aware of it, now you have a responsibility. Typically, that's why people shy away from awareness, because now you've been given the choice. Now you've been given the choice to stay the same or change. Before, you had no choice. It was what it was. Now you have the choice. Now you have a responsibility to pick.
That's what the fear is of mine, is responsibility.
Well,
right? Or like the dauntingness of having that, right?
Yes and no, because now it's not so much the fear of responsibility, because now you're responsible for making that choice, right? So now it's like, okay, I'm either choosing to do it or I'm either choosing to remain the same. Now, if you're choosing to remain the same, that's your ego.
Okay, because it wants comfort.
Comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, don't rock the boat. Dude, we're good.
Right.
We're chilling.
Maybe go likes to chill.
Yeah, exactly. I
mean, it does and it doesn't, right? But it's interesting because I think about that translating into other areas, right?
Totally.
Because it's like there's times where I'm like super motivated, like with this, like this was never not going to happen, you know? And it was like, it may have taken a little bit of time, but like.
But you had proof.
How?
Your mom.
Oh, Mom. My mom's so cute. She has a little podcast of her own. We love it. So
you had proof.
It could be done. So it almost like sparked that.
You had proof that if she can do it, I can do it. Right? And her being someone so close to you.
You know what's so interesting that I feel like you're coaching me right now. This is awesome. This is perfect. But it's bringing up something for me because, oh wow, this is actually kind of a big revelation. But when I was younger, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, right? And I remember like thinking how boring that my life must be, and how I really never wanted to do nothing is what I used to think it was, right? And I remember her telling me, I don't know why this is coming up, but I'm just going with it. But I remember her telling me, I just remember always thinking I'm not going to be like my mom, like in that way.
Yeah.
And almost like having a resentment in a weird way that she wasn't doing more, because there was a lot of things that she wanted to do right, that I knew she did. And I knew she was talented and gifted in a lot of ways as well. But there seemed to be like a lack of motivation to do anything. And I was so terrified of that being me. Yeah. And it was like, it did become that, for a long time, not recently, but I really, it was like a story that held me back for years.
In what way?
Starting something, not finishing, getting so close to something, dropping off, sabotaging. And then that became kind of deeper. And it was a lot of like, get the audition and then kind of sabotage the night before the audition or something, you know, like just almost getting what I want, almost getting somewhere and then backing off. But it was interesting because you're right. And it's like, but it's like that I saw that, you know, that's what I saw in her. And I made it my own.
Yeah, exactly.
Story.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, like, she's like, fuck all y'all. I'm doing whatever I want. She's 76 when she started the podcast. And she's like, I'm going to do this. I don't want opinions from anybody. Like my dad is a very successful businessman and he is not allowed to, come in this arena. And
so you have proof.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Making me aware of that because it's important.
Yeah. I also, as you were speaking, this is totally turning into like a Jessica coaching session.
Love it.
But as you were speaking,
this is going to be helpful for people.
I remember, I think it was about a year ago. Mm-hmm. We've known each other for more than a year, by the way.
July was a year, I believe. Wasn't it? Because then I went away.
No, we started in March.
We started in March. No.
I can't remember. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. But whatever.
Yeah.
So I remember it was summer of last year and you called me really upset because you were overwhelmed.
Yes. Was that summer or was it? I think it was end of year.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Danielle has no concept of time. Okay. That was like 6 months ago.
Okay.
She's like, that was 2014.
That was 10 years ago. I don't know what you're talking about. But
yes.
So yes. Mm-hmm. So in an effort to avoid the patterns of your mother, this is me just, I'm not, I'm just riff. Yeah.
Do your thing.
In an effort to avoid, subconsciously, you overextend. You put too much
on my plate.
On your plate.
Well, it's almost because I know I can't do it all. Is it like another way of just kind of
Well, it's
still?
almost like you're trying so hard not to be her that you end up becoming her.
Right. Isn't that so interesting?
It's a paradox, right? So it's like, I'm doing everything to avoid being like that ultimately I become that.
And now that I'm thinking of it, it's like my doing and achieving, and we're going to circle this all back to the topic of this podcast, but doing and achieving was the way I thought you were worthy.
Yeah.
Because, right?
Yeah, you were relying on
judgments around.
Yeah, I mean,
and I saw my dad be very successful. So it's like I had my mom who was, by the way, realized that her being a cheerleader, she literally had this epiphany one day that being a cheerleader for the family, being a supporter, was exactly her role in life.
Yeah,
and she like owned it, and I think that's really cool too. But for my perception, right, seeing that and then seeing my dad like way skyrocket in success, it was just all very confusing.
Yeah, well, that's funny that it also is interesting the how you identify success.
Oh, I had to redefine it when I went to school, And,
Yeah. So like if you look at dad was super successful because he had all these accolades and money and was successful in whatever it was.
Reputation and all of that.
Mom was not because she didn't have money. But mom was successful because had she not been there, he wouldn't have been there.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
diminished that role in my head, or society made me do. I don't have no idea why. I have to unpack that a little more, but it's interesting.
Yeah. There really is no need to unpack. That is literally how it was back in the day.
True.
The unpacking is understanding where the self-worth is lacking, and as you were saying that, it's almost because the worth was placed external to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Or I got that message.
Yeah, you got that message.
Definitely,
like it wasn't you are not born worthy. You gain worth.
That's how I felt. That's what I thought. That's exactly right. That's exactly what I thought. And that's why it's always a topic of conversation I like to think about, especially with guests on the podcast. Like, are we born worthy? Do people feel that way?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Born worthy, right?
Yeah.
But yes, exactly. But I got the message that unless I achieve, do, act, right?
Right. It's so funny, like as you're saying that. Just imagine, I want you to just close your eyes and imagine holding a newborn baby.
Yeah.
And it's so precious and it's doing all those like baby noises, it's so cute and round and you just want to, like the cuteness aggression's coming out.
Yeah.
And now,
such a Northeast thing, by the way.
And now you tell yourself, this baby's worth shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Makes me want to throw up.
That's what you're telling yourself.
I know. Isn't that wild?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine that people are relating out there as we're talking, but yeah, it is that precious.
Yeah, it is. And we all have that baby inside of us. So it's a matter of like, I mean, going way back for some of us, and just nurturing the inner child, the baby you, and seeing that from the get,
your own value, right?
Yeah. Like you're so cute, yummy. Look at those cheeks.
Yeah, I don't know. Did they do in your studies? Like, did they have you work with old pictures of yourself? Did you? So a lot of the things that we did, I'm interested to know. When I went to school for kind of the spiritual psychology and the masters, and we learned to facilitate others as well, we did a lot of our own inner work. Was that part of your education too?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Did you have to
a lot of inner work?
I would assume, but
I think for a whole year I had my wallpaper on my phone as me at 4 years of age.
I love that. I try to keep little baby pictures of me everywhere too. Because you're like, it's like, I think I miss it's really amazing these days. These kids are gonna have all of these videos of them.
I know
from birth until, and like really high quality videos. Like the one video,
they're high quality for us now.
Right.
In 10 years everything's gonna be 3D.
Yeah, they're literally just be reenacting it with robots and whatnot. But I know, it's just crazy. I remember looking, I've been dying to see old videos of like me as a child, because you're like, I want to be like, what? Hey, it's gonna be okay.
You're good,
like,
dude.
Just to see like that innocence, like literally through the camera. Wouldn't that be? It kind of sounds cool, but I think I have like a camcorder VHS of it somewhere.
It's funny that you mentioned that. My mom actually told me today. So I lived in Venezuela as when I was growing. I lived many places, but Venezuela being one of them. And she was asking me all these things about Caracas. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I really don't remember much about Venezuela. And she's like, well, you were 3. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that was a while ago. I don't really remember. I'm like, my brain was still developing. I'm like, And she was like, I think I have VHSs. And I'm like, do we have anything to play a VHS?
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, that's cool. Where's the VCR?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, we need to transfer those over.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm dying to. I would love to. I'll sit and watch old Danielle videos.
I know. I was.
But there's something about it, right? It's like connecting to that. We don't have access to that really right now, unless you use your memory.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I can't remember where I was watching this, but it was talking about how we're not limited to the 5 senses that we currently.
That's
claim
like
to
the
have.
seat of the soul.
Yeah. So I think if we were to exercise all of our senses, don't ask me how to do this. That's
or watch the movie Powder.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not there yet, guys, but come back to me in a couple years.
Maybe. Yeah.
But you could potentially tap into your timeline and access your old self, your younger self. Wow. And your older self, right? You could access both sides of you.
Everything's parallel, like supposedly happening on parallel timelines.
Exactly. Everything is happening at the same time.
That's a whole other podcast.
I know, right? It's like whole quantum physics.
Yes, we should do another one.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
That would be fun.
That would be awesome. Oh, good. That was a good tangent. I'm glad you went out of that. Okay, so we said what led you down the path, like, and so we got on to that.
I know. We went. Oh, we were talking about, it was personal training initially, and then seeing the difference, what happens when, your mindset impacts your ability to achieve said goal. Right. And then seeing that in my clients, I started getting curious as to how I could support them. And that's where I got the Master Health Coaching certification.
Amazing.
Right.
And the health coach was what kind of exactly, like different from a life coach? It's more for your wellness.
So it is holistic wellness, right? So it's talking about sleep, recovery, stress management. I remember you
asking me those questions on our consult. I was like, this is way different than just, I'll meet you downstairs at 12.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's sleep recovery, stress management. It's also nutrition. It's also behavior modification, like daily habits. A lot of motivational interviewing when it comes to foods and understanding why someone is choosing certain actions as opposed to ones that could potentially be more beneficial towards their goals. Sure. So that's what that whole thing was. It was a lot of physiology too.
You just got like curious and you wanted to go down like.
Well, I'm just like I see that this person needs help and I want to help and I don't have the knowledge to fully support them in the way that they need the support. So I got curious and, got applied for the certification and then was promoted with the company that I was with. And then from there, it just kind of skyrocketed and
it kind of like cracked open a window for you into like something.
My curiosity.
Yeah,
I just got more and more curious, and then and as that curiosity grows, like you start finding more things, first it was psychology. Now it's first it was behavior modification, then psychology, then neuroscience. Then I'm like spirituality, then quantum physics. And now it's like, I just want to know more. I need to go back to school.
Take me down the rabbit hole. I know it is. It's like never ending. Yeah. And it's all related. You know, it all plays off of each other. All of those modalities help in the healing process.
100%.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So part of like the podcast here and my mission is people not feeling alone, right? In things that they struggle with or feelings that they have. I know that was big for me and not having language and like we're talking about awareness. But I'm wondering, what are some of the things that you maybe I don't want to say common things, but things that you see or saw people struggle with? Because I bet for like every, let's call it symptom that you might describe, there's definitely at least 10 worthy listeners that can relate.
Yeah. That's an interesting question because I think ultimately everything stems down to Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Would you like to explain those for a moment for our audience that maybe not relate? Or just
so it's essentially like the basic human needs, right? And then going up the ladder or the pyramid up until self-actualization, right? So the basic human needs being like food, water, and then there's connection, belonging, and then there's, I can't remember fully, or I'm sorry, connection, belonging, and then safety, or safety comes before that. I can't remember the order.
Security or whatever,
we'll put it on the video there for you guys. But once your physiological needs are met, like food, sleep, safety is the number one thing.
I can see that.
So if you were to fully dissect someone's limiting patterns, limitations, lack of worthiness, it all stems from safety.
That resonates with me so much.
Yeah.
So much. Like I feel it in my gut.
Yeah.
When you say that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that as long as we can create internal safety and know that no matter what happens, you are safe in the here and now, in this current moment.
Yeah.
You become unstoppable.
Yeah.
You become unstoppable.
Well, you're creating that within you, right? Within yourself.
Within
yourself.
A
lot of us crave safety and security from others.
Yeah.
And obviously that starts with your caregivers, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And if that's dysfunctional in some way or there's mixed messaging, we look for it again in relationships.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And that's where it comes with like those codependent relationships, toxic relationships. Trauma bonding, all that fun stuff that I'm sure everyone here has.
My 20s was about, maybe my early 30s.
Fun times.
So you see a lot of that.
I think
it comes with
a lot of it stems from safety, and so
interesting.
And so they end up, we'll call it self-sabotage, but that's a very judgy term, right? But we'll call it patterns, right? These patterns are exercised because it's providing a false sense of safety.
100%.
Right? So it's not really providing the safety that they're required. It's actually preventing
like a
them.
Hit kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it's not long-term.
It's not sustainable.
And it's not only is it not sustainable, not long-term, but it's not serving them to expand.
Would it be even holding them back even?
100%. Most of the time it is.
Wow.
Most of the time it is. And it's the ego being like, we remember that doing this kept us safe when we were 6. Let's stay here because we know this is safe.
It literally doesn't know that you're an adult. No,
yeah.
In a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it keeps you in that like corner because it's, it's more comfortable in the familiar hell than in the unfamiliar heaven.
Devil, right? Yeah, that's interesting. So with safety, do you notice any other common threads into what people are struggling with? Or you think that's just kind of like the main
I think
one?
I think safety is probably the deepest desire. How that manifests is different for everyone.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
I think is self-concept for sure. It's like the self-identity, right? Identifying self as X and holding on to that identity so strongly that you're not able to move past it. But ultimately, the desire is to move past it because you want to expand, you want to
Yeah.
change, you want to be someone different.
And I think a lot of people relate to that, but it's like, what?
It's like
You can't let
I
go.
want to be in I want to be a talk show host. I want to do that. I want to be a world traveler.
Right.
I want to be cultured.
Right.
But I'm not the type of person to get on a plane by myself.
So they're kind of
that's-
stories, right?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
We've held on to for
Exactly.
whatever reasons, and they like wrap us like a warm blanket, but they're really
Exactly.
like a weighted blanket.
Exactly. I think yeah, exactly. And to your previous when you were doing the introduction, that's why it's so important to have those conversations with the coaches, because if they're not asking you the specific questions to find out what your patterns are, right? And how those patterns manifest in you,
Yeah.
They're not going to know how to support you.
Yeah.
They're going to be like,
Like
well,
you can say there's common ways to help this certain type of thing, but it's not gonna affect change in that person unless it clicks.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the click
Right.
comes from the person, not
Right.
from the coach.
Right.
Right.
It's really cool.
Yeah. The you cannot provide an aha moment for a client. The client has to create that insight themselves. That realization, and they're like, just like you did. You're like, oh my God, I'm just thinking about my mom now that you said that.
It was wild. Yeah.
But
those are the questions. Like that's why you're good at what you do, because that's what you should be looking for. Somebody to help provoke that
thought provoking.
Thought provoking. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
that, for sure. I didn't really think about the safety thing. That must be a common thread, though. As soon as you said it, I was like,
yeah. And if
that's where a lot of my shit comes from.
Yeah. But if you felt it in your gut, then that is somatic work that you can do, like some breath work stuff.
Oh my
that
God,
can,
is always the home to my distress and anxiety and fear and abandonment and all of that. But so hence why I struggled with gut issues for so long, until I put those two together.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So as far as these common threads, how do they relate to self-worth? Like, do you think, or let's use the safety one, right?
Yeah.
So, and is this, let's call it a feeling of a lack of safety. Again, I'm just going to go with this one that you brought up. A symptom of like a fractured sense of self-worth? Is this like, with safety being like, oh, I'm not safe unless I'm with somebody. I'm not, right?
Okay, so let's talk about like external validation. People pleasing, right?
Yes.
Overachieving,
Yes.
right? As long as I do all these things, as long as I make him happy, as long as my calendar is full, I am worthy. As long as all of these things, I will be safe, and I will create worth within myself, and people will be in my tribe and like me.
Yeah.
Because once you're in a tribe, you're safe. As soon as you're ostracized, you're alone.
Right.
And now you don't have a tribe to protect you. That's why community is so important.
Well, that's why wanting to belong is so important, right? It's
Exactly.
Like being alone equals death.
Yeah, exactly.
DNA somewhere, I'm assuming.
100%. No, you're absolutely right. So community group settings is very important. And the moment that you start feeling like your love is conditional, you have to achieve a certain thing in order to get love, in order to belong, in order to be part of a tribe. Your worth is now external to you. It's what you provide.
You're like handing it to somebody.
Yeah.
Or something. In
Exactly.
A way.
Exactly. If I give you this, will you allow me in your tribe?
How can you anchor in? Now I'm just curious. But how can you anchor in? I mean, it's so. I'm going to speak from my point of view because it's resonating so deeply with me.
Yeah.
That sense of like, it's so easy to feel good when you're getting external validation, right? Mother, father, caretaker, grandparent. You telling me good job, right? Or feeling that way. But how can I, what do you, I mean, I'm sure it's different for every person, but how do you anchor in that sense of safety with yourself?
Yeah. When was the last time you told yourself good job?
I high-fived myself yesterday.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
High five. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I'm really, I mean, I talk to myself all day long now. Like,
Yeah.
because my work right now is to really catch the negative spiral.
Yeah.
Because I'm a daydreamer. Right.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of us have, I think it's very interesting to me, the autopilot I get into, even when I'm, when you're like reading a book and you're like, wow, I just read 30 pages and I have no idea what I read because I was like,
yeah.
So I'm trying to have more awareness with that and interrupt the thoughts.
Yeah.
So, and I've always been big on starting my day with positive noise, right? Like whether it's my own meditation, breath, or something that I'm watching or listening to, it's like kind of setting the stage. So, but it's throughout the day that those voices come in where I might be harder. So if I walk by a mirror, I try to high five myself now.
Okay. So how long have you been doing that? I love that. How long have you been doing it?
I would say probably a month.
Okay. And have you noticed any shifts?
Yeah, I can't say I do it every single day, but I do it a lot. And yes, I think there's sometimes there's almost an immediate boost.
Yeah.
Like I do when I'm trying to think of the other things I do. There's like that, like telling myself good job.
So
sometimes I'll feel that rush like right away, like as if it was you saying it, right?
Yay, good. So what you're creating. So those are essentially different neural pathways that you're creating in your brain. And think of like walking on a field, a full field, right? It's never been touched. And you start walking a path, right? You walk that same path over and over again. It becomes...
Yes, I just read that in one of our, another guest's book that she wrote. Yeah.
Right. So it gets like, the track starts marking, right?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know how to... I don't know the words. Words are hard.
Yeah.
You create that path. You track it,
carved out.
right? It's carved out. So now as you're doing that, as you started doing this a month ago now, you're starting to create that path. And the more you do it, the stronger it'll become.
And it's interesting actually because now when negative thoughts try to come, it feels really icky.
Ew.
But it totally does. It doesn't feel good. Like if my mind wants to go there, if I entertain it too long, like I actually physically don't feel good.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Emoto's water experiment?
Oh God, it's one of my favorite experiments to talk about.
So good.
Tell our listeners about it.
All right. So essentially,
it's incredible.
Yeah. Don't ask me what year it was. Yeah. I don't remember.
We're gonna give you the gist here on the worthy.
For me, her and Jessica and I have known each other for 10 years, but apparently it's only been like 2 months. Right. So who knows?
What time era this was? It's actually modern though.
Time and space are all not real, so we're good there.
This is a modern study. It was done.
It is within the century.
But yes, go ahead.
So he essentially picked water from the same water source and decided to speak to it, right?
As it was freezing, right?
Before it froze, actually. Before it froze, he spoke to one droplet and said, I hate you, you're horrible, you're disgusting, gross. And the other one was, you're beautiful, I love you, I'm so grateful for you. And then he froze both of them.
I can literally feel the energy when you say those words. Like in my body. Yeah. Like the different vibe.
Yucky. It's gross. Ew. Okay. And once they took it out and once it got frozen and turned into what we call a snowflake, he looked at both samples under the microscope. One was complete chaos, which was the one that was spoken poorly to. And
it looked ugly.
It looked ugly. It looked gross.
Misaligned.
Probably put a picture of it on your video.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the other one looked like a beautiful snowflake. Now the interesting thing here too is this also works with plants.
Yes, I heard that.
This also works with plants.
I talk to my plants a lot too.
Good.
I probably should talk to them more because I don't know that they like their new house right now. They're like, I don't know where about.
But you can even talk to the water that you're putting in your plants.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah. And if you think about it,
tell you everything's energy, right?
Well, and you're mostly comprised of water.
Right.
So if you're sitting there,
having those,
if you're feeling icky and ill,
Ew, that's the name of this podcast.
Let's call it ill from now on. Yeah, so it makes sense that you would get that reaction, that like physical reaction when those words are spoken.
That's also really great feedback because it's instant in a way. It doesn't. I'm not saying it will be every time. I don't want to, have people thinking that, but for me it's like somatic. I can feel it, but it's kind of good. It's great when you get that feedback when you're like, oh, I like that. That gives you the incentive to want to do it more.
Yeah. But the more you do it, the more your body's going to get used to it. And remember how we talked about the brain not liking to be uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Right? So if you're walking by the mirror and you're like, Jessica, you're fucking amazing. You're freaking great. I love you.
Yeah.
And then do you think to yourself, you're like, okay, that sounded special. Like I am not ever saying that again. That's going to be awkward at first. That's going to be uncomfortable.
Oh, it's going to be super awkward.
Super weird.
And
you're just
doing affirmations at first. You're like, shut up.
Like, you're so lame. Gross. Like, ew. But the more you do it, the less uncomfortable. It's kind of like EFT tapping. When I'm walking on the beach and I'm doing the tapping and people are like, what is she doing? At first I was like, this is so weird. But the more you do it, you're just like, all right, it's just what I do. Like, it's just, you just get comfortable with being weird and what's normal anyway. That's such a construct.
And why are doing the things that are good for us always feel weird or abnormal,
But what's normal? That's the whole point.
Or
like,
silly.
Let's be
silly.
weird. Let's be weird. Let's bring weird back.
Totally. I think bringing weird back for sure. I remember, doing this work very early on and starting to see those affirmations and working in school. And I would and they'd put on all this music, very positive. And I was like, oh my God, why does it feel so, straight? It will feel strange. It's new, but it feels cheesy and silly, yet it's so simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we all did it, these things, literally we'd be living in a different place.
Well, think about what the baby you, the child you, would do if they were put in a room with that music. Would they be dancing?
Love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Leaping through the air. Yes.
Yeah. So it's more so, okay, how can I tap into that child self who was more carefree?
But we think we're supposed to be responsible and, not.
But why do they have to be mutually exclusive?
I have no idea.
They don't. You can be weird and responsible.
No,
we can totally be weirdly responsible.
Totally. I love that. I love that so much. Thanks for giving us permission to be weird. So many great names for this episode have come up. So we talked about them being symptoms of your worth. I think that you explained that so beautifully because it kind of all ties in. And so I want to know, and I'm kind of asking people as they come on the show, what is your definition of self-worth? Or how would you define it?
That is such a good question.
No right or wrong answers.
I think... I don't know if I can fully describe self-worth, but I think I can speak to how it would show up, if that's fair.
Whatever's coming to you. Yeah.
I think the moment you begin prioritizing your bliss without shame, and you allow yourself to feel pleasure without shame or guilt, I think that's ultimately self-worth. When you begin prioritizing that.
Like valuing yourself in a bit.
Yeah, but it's, I
love that.
Valuing yourself and just making it a point and making it known to others. This is what I do for me. And this is my priority.
Well, this is a perfect segue because literally one of the things I admire about you the most is how you prioritize yourself. Care, I should say, but yourself. But you have, in my opinion, it's your lifestyle. You managed to have fun. You managed to completely be yourself, but you know what is good for you, what you need, and you kind of don't apologize about that, and you don't waver and you don't budge on your routines and things. And in a sense, I'm assuming because I feel like they help you to show up optimally in the world. And that's hard, and you personally, I think, you were up at 4:30, right?
I'm up at 4.
4. Yeah. Okay. Right. And we've talked about this from I was going to bed one day and I was just going to text you up. Right. But that to some of our listeners might feel so far off from something, but can you tell us how did you get there? How did you get into, first of all, how did you know to prioritize yourself so well? And let's start there.
Okay. So I think the first time, I mean, I kind of had to be honest.
Okay.
So it was almost forced on me. So remember that story about me being in a cubicle and working on my...
Sure do.
So, in order for me to actually pursue personal training, I had to go to school for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and I also still had to work because I had to make money.
God.
And
Thanks, old boss.
yeah. And I also needed time to go to the gym because I enjoyed working out. So the only time I could work out was at 5 a.m. I had to be at work.
A lot of people resonate with that.
Yeah. I had to be at work at 8. And I was done with work at 6:30. At 6:45, I had 15 minutes to get to school. From 6:45 until 10, I was at school. So that's how it initially started. And it was just like, okay, I have to go to bed. And I remember Fridays we didn't have class, but I would go to bed early just because I'd be so exhausted from the past 4 days, that I was just like, I can't.
You can't stand up.
Yeah, no, I'm so tired.
Right.
So that was kind of forced on me because of
you also had a desire to work out, which has been a passion of yours in fitness.
Right. And I think that through that the routine just kind of followed, right? But the whole passion of working out only started like almost after college. I was a huge partier in college. I was like, if I were to look at myself today, if my younger self at 21 were to see me today, at my beautiful age, 45,
yes,
I think that she would be like, there is no way that that's you.
Wow.
There is absolutely no way. I mean, everything.
So it was a big drastic turn of events.
It was
at some point.
I went as far as, scheduling my classes just Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I had more time to party. But the priorities were so off.
That's a genius move. I mean, that I applied to college. That was like the biggest,
Yeah. I mean,
the easiest college I was ever going to go to so that I could have a social life, I think.
Yeah. So it's like, I was just strategically planning my parties.
So that was already in there.
The strategy was there.
Your planning and prioritizing.
Yeah, my priority. Yeah, it's just a shift in priority. But it wasn't until I met my college boyfriend. I think it was more towards the later years of my college. I think it was end of junior year that I started.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Quinnipiac University.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
in Hampshire.
In Hamden, Connecticut.
Hamden, Connecticut. Oh, I always thought it was New Hampshire. I don't know.
Hamden, New Hampshire. I don't know. They kind of sound the same.
Maybe. Yep.
So it wasn't until then that I started going to the gym, and that's what created I was really going to the gym to be with him. It wasn't like
interesting.
I wasn't like, yay, I'm gonna
like motivators that were like behind
exactly.
you.
What
like,
triggers
when you really
you?
Want something?
You go for it.
Yeah, you're gonna do it. Yeah,
you're like, I want that man. I'm gonna make sure no girl hits on him at the gym.
Right. I'm gonna strategically place myself between him and the treadmill.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's how it started, and then and then fast forward to, I think, the desire to wake up early out of my own personal will, not because I have to, started in Florida.
Interesting.
Like where I was like, I didn't have something scheduled. I'm choosing to do this. And the reason why it started was because of the sunrises.
I was just going to ask, are you a sunrise person? Is that why? I have a friend who will never not get up before the sunrise. So she walks to the beach and does that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It is. I'm a sunset person.
Yeah.
Which tells you something. I am a night person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what kept me going, and what was the we'll call it the reward system behind me getting up early.
Right.
But now you're funny because you're saying like, oh, you have such a strong routine in the morning. And I'm like,
in general, I think
you're
and you're dedicated. Yeah.
Right. But are you dedicated to brushing your teeth?
I would hope so. Yeah.
But I mean, like, you don't think
You're
about
not even
that.
thinking about it
You know what I
anymore.
mean? You're just like, I get up and do.
Okay.
You know? So that's the
Amazing.
same thing with me. So like when people are like, I can't believe you get up at 4. And I'm like, well,
When you also have you're very dedicated to the workouts that you do, you know,
yeah.
too. Like you're very,
and I mean,
you're,
I'm not going to lie. There are motivating factors at the gym.
I'm sure there are. Yeah.
You know,
It's not a bad place to be.
There is a reason I go there at 5 a.m.
Maybe I need to start going at 5 a.m.
Hey, listen.
1 p.m., 2 p.m. is not.
That's not the vibe. That's not the vibe.
So funny. Definitely not the vibe. So, were there like any sacrifices that you feel like you had to make to be, you know, kind of operating at this level right now, and functioning at this level? Like any sacrifices as far as like, or just what didn't feel like it because you were.
I don't look at them as sacrifices. You know, I think it's almost like a trade-off. Like you still have both options. I can still
That's okay. Trade-off might be the word too.
yeah, like it wasn't a sacrifice. I still have the option to do it if I want to. I can still go out and party all night if I want to. You know, if I want to. Do I want to? No. Not at all. That does not sound fun.
The payoff there is the hangover.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so I mean, I think maybe the one trade-off is, you know, my dating life isn't that crazy because, you know,
that's
like
a sacrifice in a way.
I mean,
like
is it? But at the same time,
maybe.
well, yeah, yes and no. At the same time, like anyone who I would date, I wouldn't meet at 9 o'clock at a bar,
true.
you know?
Yeah.
Or like that lifestyle isn't my lifestyle anyway. And I've dated someone with a completely different lifestyle than me, and that clearly didn't work out.
Yeah.
I am single.
Interesting.
You know, so I would much rather live the lifestyle that I want to live. And whoever wants to join me in that life,
I love that.
come with me.
That's
and
awesome.
that's the prioritizing.
That's a great way, but it's a reframe though, too, right?
Yeah.
So where I was, you know, or someone else listening, maybe just before you said that, might be like, oh, well, you know, it's a mindset, right? Thinking that it is a sacrifice, but you're saying it's actually almost.
It's
like
a strategy.
Yeah, it's a strategy. and it's all of it because you're creating the habit, the pattern,
and also the boundaries.
The boundaries, exactly. And then calling in from that place.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so cool. I'm so glad that you brought that up because, yeah, I was thinking sacrifices, but it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, so what habits have come into your life or gone away, you know, it kind of like a little bit of a similar question. So I think you mentioned something around like habit stacking before.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So habit stacking.
Because it's a great way to add on to new things you want to do.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, we talked a little bit about brushing your teeth.
Right. Yeah.
So let's say if, so I'll use my personal experience as an example, right? I have a very cute, fluffy white dog. She is my child. She is amazing. Yes. She needs to walk every morning.
She does.
Right. So when I would wake up and walk her, I started off just walking her by the green patch by my apartment. And then I remember waking up slightly earlier and then I saw how red and vibrant the sky was. And I was like, wow, that is beautiful. Grizz, my dog, let's go to the beach and check this out. So we run to the beach and we check it out and we're like, whoa, this is amazing. So we did that for a few times, right? Like let's say a month. The following month, it was something along the lines of, let's actually sit on the sand and experience this. Let's just be here with the sunrise. So walk Grizzy, peas, walk to the beach, sit on the sand. Next thing, a month later, let's dive in the ocean. So then now I'm swimming. Okay, let's get a paddleboard. So now I'm paddleboarding, right? And still stacking all of these things in, right? Yeah. Now I'm paddleboarding. And then winter comes and it's dark. Oh, where's the sunrise? And I'm like, I can go to the gym before the sunrise.
Wow.
And then
you know what I would have thought of? I can sleep the fuck in a little bit.
Right. But then you would
have lost the money. Right?
I would have and then I would have lost them. Like I was already getting up early, right? So I was like, well, now that I'm up at 4 or 5, whatever, and it's winter and it's darker, I'm like, how can I still sustain that wake up time because I don't want to keep on shifting it because that messes up your circadian rhythm.
Right.
So what can I do instead of just like sitting and scrolling on the phone? I'm going to go to the gym, come back, walk Grizzy, go to the beach, watch the sunrise, meditate, paddleboard, and then all that before 9:30.
Wow.
You know?
It's a full day.
And it's amazing. And it's like,
it's incredible.
you know, living here and it's such a gift because you get to have a vacation every single day. Talk about nervous system regulation.
It's true.
You get to reset every morning if you choose to, or every night, depending on.
I love walking. I love that we're able to walk around here in South Beach so much, and just the beach being right there. I mean, you're obviously very close to it, but it's one of my favorite ways to start the day is to walk down and just stare at the ocean. I mean, now I live on the water, which is beautiful too, but that's the bay. I mean, like actually going down
both of them. I mean, you get beautiful sunsets too.
It's sunsets are my jam. Yeah. So it's incredible. So that's a great story for our listeners. It's like tacking that on to something you're already doing slowly and steadily.
Yeah. Well, what I want to highlight too, obviously I did that in fast forward.
Right.
So it can be something as small as, you know, just walking around the block, you know, or just waking up 5 minutes earlier.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Having a glass of water before you have your cup of coffee.
Yep.
It can be things like that. These small things, right? And so you slowly start, and that's another thing that I started doing 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I have 40 ounces of water and my vitamins before I have any food.
Yeah, that's my rule too. Oh no, I don't know about 40 ounces, but half a liter at least.
Yeah. And now it's like, now it turned into, I'm so full that I'm now like fasting until 12, you know? So now I'm intermittent fasting. And I'm like, all right, now I'm just intermittent fasting now. Now that's what I do. I don't eat until noon. And then, you know,
same. Yeah.
So it's crazy. And like these things just kind of like slowly one thing leads to the next. And literally 1% difference every day leads to 365 degrees of change.
So how do you think that these forms of habits, first of all, they require consistency, right? I would say they require some sort of discipline.
Discipline, yes, but only for the beginning. So the way you can kind of not rely so much on discipline is relying on the reward that comes with it. Right. So the reward for me was the sunrise. Right. The reward for me drinking water, I put electrolytes in it. It tastes pretty yummy, you know? So I'm just like, it's a raspberry salt. Is that the one they have?
Yes.
So good.
And that's like an instant. Right?
Yeah. So exactly. Right. You want to give yourself that quick hit.
Yeah, totally.
Because that'll keep you going. So having that reward system ultimately will diminish the need for discipline because that reward will always be there.
And so it feels like doing these things and having whether it's habit forming, whether it's a routine or I'm going to say habit or routine really of something that you do that cares for yourself on a consistent basis, it feels like you build self-trust with that. Would you agree with that?
100%. Yeah. 100%. As soon as you start, let's say, high-fiving yourself.
Woo!
You know? Yeah. As soon as you start telling yourself, to your example, you consistently start telling yourself, you're good, you're great, you're good, you're great. You're going to start acting as though you are.
Right.
And by acting as though you are, you're building trust in yourself, in the idea that you are great.
And kind of going back to what we were saying earlier, where it's like the ego, it's like there isn't enough trust built to prove otherwise or to show proof otherwise, because the more that kind of aspect, the ego aspect, keeps us small, we're still getting a reward there in some way, right? There's some sort of comfort, I would assume.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I heard, and you're saying trust, and I heard this thing the other day and I was like, oh my God, that's so genius. So if you say, I don't trust myself, I don't trust myself, right? But do you have trust that you don't trust yourself? I'm not confident. Are you confident that you're not confident?
That's really amazing.
So like, you are confident.
I know for sure is that I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are confident. You're just confident that on the wrong thing, right? It's not that you don't have
ability
the
is
thing.
there.
The ability to be is there.
Ooh,
You know?
it's a mind fuck.
It's such a mind fuck. It's great, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that definitely will work for certain people.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you do amazing work, and you've been around people, working with people for a long time.
Yeah.
What is it about you that you think helps to connect and relate to others?
Well, I mean, come on.
Agreed. It really is that simple, though, if you actually do work with her.
You know, I like to think that I create a sense of levity in conversation. Sometimes coaches tend to make it so it can be so intense and so serious. It doesn't have to be. It can be fun, and a safe space can be a playground.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to always be, we're going to sit here and cry for an hour.
And I wouldn't want this to be that either.
Yeah,
never.
you know, like, so it doesn't have to be that. There, you can bring levity to the space. And I think I would consider myself to be a little bit of a mama bear.
Yeah.
You know?
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and in every sense, right? I can be fierce, but always with love and compassion, right? I will call your shit out, always with love and compassion.
Bit of tough love never hurt anybody.
Yep. And I will always cheer you on, and I will always play with you. So
I can confirm that actually. Totally.
yeah. So I think that opens, and ultimately connecting with people and helping people is my life's calling. Is ultimately what I want to do, is make a positive impact in this world and leave it better than when I came in.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
if there's,
that's beautiful.
yeah. So if I can do that one person at a time, then I'm good. I'm doing God's work, I guess.
No, you are totally. And I think there's definitely this relatability to you. I think you have a beautiful energy. I want you to tell the story a little bit because I just thought it was so cool. And it leads into just a topic as well that I want to address with you. But that story about you competing. So you used to compete.
Oh, yeah.
Correct, right?
Yeah.
And you want to just tell our listeners a little bit what I mean by that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can give a very close notes version if you like. Yeah, whatever you want.
So it was back in 2013. I competed at the Arnold as a figure competitor. And it's a lot of years of preparation for this, right?
Yes.
And this is a global competition. This is every nation is going to the Arnold Classic to compete. In my division, there were about 60 women. And I remember walking backstage and looking around, and these women were Amazon goddesses. I mean, they were not only chiseled and sculpted, but beautiful and tall and strong. And I'm like looking around and I'm like, yeah, I definitely do not belong here. You know, I was like, this is like, I'm not placing at all in this competition.
Yeah.
So I decided to completely let go. And I was like, I am not here to compete. I'm here just to have fun. I'm just going to have a blast on that stage. And I really don't care. I completely detached myself from any expectation, any outcome. And I just remained present. And I remember seeing the crowd, and I remember working the crowd and smiling and, waving to the judge, even blinking and whatever, just like having just a good time and just having fun and genuinely smiling. We come back at night, and then they're like top 10, and they call my name, and I'm like, what? I was like, what?
Wow.
I'm like, are you sure? Then they called my number, and I'm like, what? No way. So I go on stage, and then I finally spoke to the judges, right? This is a typical thing that we do in competition.
Which I think is invaluable and wild at the same time.
Well, you always want to know where are my areys of improvement, right? Yeah. But at that point, I knew my areas of improvement. They were very clear to me.
Like, so you were like, why did I play?
Exactly. So the question was, I'm really curious. Why? And I think I believe I was 7. I was 7 out of 60. I was 7.
That's incredible.
And I was just like, I'm really confused. I'm honored and flattered, but I really want to know why I placed. And what they said was, your showmanship, you worked the crowd, you engaged everyone, you were present, you were smiling, that it was genuine, and you were here with us. And that is something that many people don't take an account when they're standing on stage competing and looking rigid and stiff.
Did you think they would say that?
No, no.
So how
I had no
valuable
idea.
that feedback was to you?
I mean, it completely shifted everything for me.
Yeah.
It's everything for me, right? Instead of holding on so tightly to having to control the outcome and having to be a certain way, why not just let go and allow yourself to be freely and detach from whatever outcome is there?
And also,
right?
like, not take yourself so seriously.
Play.
Have fun, right?
Play.
I think one of my favorite spiritual teachers, Gabby Bernstein, always says to measure your success by how much fun you're having. And I think that's great, you know?
Use that as a measurement of success, Jessica.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying.
That's why you're doing this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about feedback for a second, because I think, you know, as a coach, you know, and me, you know, working with people the way I had done, but also being somebody, it was very hard for me to take feedback, or to be criticized or to whatever. Do you find that that's something that people struggle with as you work with people, or how do you address that? You said you personally create a nice container for your clients.
Yeah.
But
you know, it's interesting. There's a concept that circles around feedback that they renamed it feed forward.
Of course they did. Okay.
Of course. Well, feedback is, this is what you did wrong.
Right.
This is what was not good. Feed forward is more forward thinking. Okay. This is how next time when you go on stage, where you can improve is this. It's not, this was not good enough. This asymmetry,
well,
you know.
That process is like, that makes me feel lighter.
Exactly. So you're just like, well, I want to work towards it. Instead of, well, I can't rewind and go back in time.
That's something because it is. It's like when we think about feedback, I did something wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's guilt and there's shame. And, for me, it was, at least, and I'm still working on, that, because I think feedback is, I mean, look at what you were able to learn from getting the feedback that you had.
Yeah.
You know, and it was almost like a validation that, you know, to let go, have fun, whatever was such an important role. But there's just so much to learn.
Yeah.
But we get so hung up on, I'm bad, I'm wrong, you know, I'm not. And I think that just goes back to,
well, that's also a fixed mindset.
And it also goes back to safety, I think, too, right? If I'm bad and wrong, I don't belong here. Or, right?
Yes, 100%. But that is the mindset of a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset.
Okay.
Right. So a fixed mindset, meaning like you are not able to develop skills to change. You are who you are. This is who I am. I'm either good or I'm not. Right. And so when you give someone feedback and they take it personally, that's typically aligns with someone who has a fixed mindset. Now, if you look at someone who takes feedback and they're like, thank you, now I know how to be better. Well, let me give you another example of how like a slap in the face for me. Okay. Like a true reality check for me. When I had just started personal training, I was with them for a year and they had asked me to be part of their management team. And I said yes. So I was now a manager, and we had these physical therapists coming into to the facility to assess our movement patterns. And I was dating a trainer at the time, and I was like, man, I really want to get this right, because, you know, me being the manager, I don't want to look stupid. You know, I'm like supposed to know what I'm doing here.
Right.
And then he looked at me and he was like, Danielle, if everything you're doing is right, this is as good as you'll ever be. No. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Okay, I want it to be horrible. You know, the worse it is, the more room for improvement I have. So I get to grow. The more growth I get to achieve.
That's a mindset shift, though, right?
But that was
it as opportunity.
Exactly. But that's where the aha moment was for me, where I was just like, shit, you know, like, you're right. I don't have to be the best, because if I'm the best right now.
And why do we think that we're supposed to be the best? Like, you know, thinking about getting feedback from anything, like, why did I think I would nail that? Like, you know, my first 2 teaching gigs, or like, you know, in front of my teacher after graduation, why would I think that would be perfect?
And here's the thing too, like when it comes to feedback, you don't always have to take it. You know what I mean? Like, they can give you the feedback and you can say, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to providing that, but you don't have to take that feedback with you, you know? If it doesn't
it's
resonate,
always, it's like synonymous for a lot of people, I think, with criticism. I think feedback, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's probably the fear of.
Okay, ladies, let's talk about moms.
Okay.
Okay.
Go.
All right. Moms are a perfect example of this, especially with their daughters.
That's where the damage is.
That's where the damage is. So, I'm telling my mom, I think I'm going to highlight my hair. And she's like, oh, do you think that maybe you should be getting a trim too? And I'm like, no, Mom, not getting a trim, just highlight. She's like, are you sure? It looks like it could use a little trim. I don't have to take that feedback.
Right there, baby.
Yeah, but I don't need to take it.
How would you not be able to take that on when you're younger?
Well, right. I mean,
Right.
but that's why we're talking to adults here.
Yes.
Who hopefully will have children. And now you know.
Absolutely.
And now you know. But the feedback doesn't always have to be like internalized.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
I internalize everything. I am extremely sensitive on many levels. And it's something that I try to work on and like protecting my energy in that way. It's like, it doesn't have to seep in,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be all or nothing, it can be, I can take what I want, leave the rest. I can not make it about me.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people,
Yeah.
even
And it's
listening,
also important to highlight the person providing the feedback. It makes a huge difference on how you share feedback. If it's coming from a place of compassion and the intention behind that feedback is so that person can grow and be better because you believe in their ability to be better.
And I think that's you said, like, listen, for parents listening out there, the delivery, the 100% behind it, it really is
everything. It's everything.
Everything. I really do agree. Yeah. It's a good awareness to have. Yeah. Amazing. So, okay. Last few questions, and then we're going to get into some rapid fire things.
Oh, God.
It's not that scary, I promise. So talking about like the human experience is a big part of what interests me. And you're a coach, you're trained in helping people physically, mentally, emotionally. But that doesn't mean that you're not immune to your own struggles.
Oh my God,
right?
totally.
Yeah, and I think that can be a misconception.
Yeah.
Not that you're not, we as aren't trying to walk the walk, talk the talk, but we struggle with things. It's a broad statement, obviously, but focusing on self-worth, can you recount any moments in life where your own worth was challenged?
Yeah.
Great.
Several times.
Care to share? Okay.
Can you spill the tea? I think the most recent one was probably my last relationship. Where I think that being in a relationship where it was toxic and and it's funny when you're in in a relationship with someone who's not mentally stable. And I don't know if they intentionally do this, but it's like a slow burn, like you don't realize that
like
you're
a
on
grooming thing.
Yeah, it is. It is grooming. So you don't realize all these things until you're so far into it. And it's not until someone outside of the relationship witnesses something and they're like, that's not normal behavior. That's not the you that I know. And it took my mom to share that with me for me to realize that I had become a completely different person, and I have completely, a shell morphed into someone who was completely questioning my entire reality. My ability to trust myself, my intuition, my gut, my decisions, my ability to take care of myself financially. That was taken from me, I was completely, and it was super scary. It was very scary.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I've totally been there, and there's nothing, it's really wild how it's almost like you can just lose yourself in some way, at the bequest of somebody else in that sense, or have somebody have so much power, kind of like going back to it's like I handing them, your worth.
But you don't even know you're doing
You don't
it.
even know you're doing it.
You know,
and that is, unfortunately, that's abuse in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, it is. I mean,
I think a lot of our listeners, of course, I didn't shut my computer so I can hear the pinging after everything. But a lot of our listeners, I do definitely probably can relate to a form of abusive relationship or toxic relationship that has also made them question their worth. So I think it's important to talk about because we don't know when we don't know that,
and it happens to everyone, and
of course,
and
I don't think anybody's immune to it.
Yeah,
either.
and man, it took a lot of I think I went probably a year of therapy and EMDR to really like bring me back to my center and groundedness. But it is, we're not immune to it. Even coaches now I am way more aware of those patterns when
you might have more skills and wisdom.
Well, right. Exactly. Wisdom from
happens.
Exactly. From having gone through that experience, as soon as I see any kind of signs that could potentially mirror that other person, it's like shut down.
What did you come up with any stories that you told yourself as a result of that relationship, or maybe another instance?
I don't know that I came. Well, I think maybe I'm crazy. Like he's good, he's being good. He's a good guy. You're being crazy. And then there was also the whole, I don't want to be alone. Mm-hmm. No one's going to love me.
Yeah. We always think that we're not going to feel that way again. You're going to find somebody, and
exactly. And honestly, looking back, I'm like, no one's going to love me. I'm like, this guy didn't love me. I'm like, what was I doing?
Well, you think that's as good as it gets.
Yeah. Well, because that's all I was conditioned to think that was all that I was allowed. It was
all on purpose, is what you're saying. Yeah.
I
think, but even without the mental illness on that, I think we slip into those kind of codependent relationships, for all sorts of reasons too, whether there's that level of control or abuse, but, freely handing over, our worth to this external source.
100%. Right? And I think that's I'm glad you brought that up, because in relationships, I think it's beautiful when people can coexist and what's it called?
Mesh
their lives together. But I
blend.
also, or blend. Yeah, thank you. blend their
healthier.
Blend. Yeah. Blend their lives together. I think that's beautiful. But I also think it's so important to have your independence outside of the relationship.
Yes.
Because you end up putting so much pressure on each individual person in the relationship that it's, you can't rely on this one person to be everything for you. Nor should you.
I know.
Nor should you.
I think it was Esther Perel. Just back to my mic. I believe it's Esther Perel that talks about how we used to back in,
love her.
Right? Isn't it amazing? She was saying how we go to our partner for everything, for things we used to go to many different things for. We think they're our higher power, right? Our best friend, our girlfriend, our everything.
Yeah.
And that's so much pressure to put in a relationship. I think you're pretty good at that, I'm sure. Now, I it's something I prioritize as my own time and travel, friendships.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm nothing that those are priority number one, connections, work, right? Or again, fitness. And, but I think that it's a very common place we kind of tend to slip up and lose ourselves in.
Yeah.
As those particularly romantic relationships.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important, like you mentioned, friendships, to have a group of friends that are willing and able to make you aware of those patterns and give you a heads up and provide you some friendly feedback.
In a safe way.
Without
judgment.
Without judgment.
Because I think everybody, if I've learned anything, it's that nobody's going to make any changes until they're ready.
Right.
Right. This girl's not going to break up with this guy because you talk shit about him or whatever. And I wouldn't even want that. I think we get protective over the people we love. And I think, there's been times I think it's frustrating to watch people make the same mistakes or let's call it repeat patterns that don't seem to be serving. But I think learning the art of friendship in the sense of holding space, empowering rather than disempowering, right?
Yeah.
With feedback or with concern or any of that.
Yeah, and it doesn't even need to get to that point though. Like I'm just saying, like, even if in a relationship, if you start noticing your girlfriend or your guy friend spending every weekend with their significant other when they used to have like one night where they would hang out with friends, and now that's no longer the case. It's like, hey, we missed you the other weekend. Do you think that maybe you could come next week? We'd love to see you.
Yeah.
I
agree.
And just, it could be that easy. It doesn't have to be this like, okay, we're going to sit you down and have this like intervention.
That's for more serious.
Exactly.
More serious situations for sure. Well, this has been amazing. I'm going to throw some questions at you to close us out.
Okay.
And just say whatever the first thing that comes to mind is.
Okay? Apple.
Ew.
Ew. Weird.
Okay. What is your superpower?
Reinvention.
Say more.
I think that I've lived so many different chapters in my life, and each one has such a special and unique flair. From being the partier, from being the gym goer, from being the, working at an ad agency, from being a personal trainer to a manager, from being in Connecticut to being in Florida, from living in 7 different countries. Every chance I get, there is a reinvention. And I think the beauty of it is that it is an ongoing process. I will forever continue to reinvent myself. So,
that's awesome. That's a great one.
Yeah.
I've never heard that one before. What are you still working on?
Myself.
Yes. Okay. In what way? Or what's your thing?
So it's, it's serendipitous or synchronicity.
Yes.
But self-love. I want to practice more self-love and finding, and I'm doing that by finding small glimmers of happiness and joy in everything that I do every day.
I love that intention that you started to work with on Instagram. You were announcing it, like surprising yourself.
I'm like, the intentional surprises.
Yeah,
I'm gonna find things that make me smile and intentionally do it and surprise myself.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, you kind of answered this already. What impact you want to have on the world? You actually said it beautifully earlier, and I think that's amazing. So I'm going to move to the next one, which is just to play with me for a second. It's finish the so you can finish the sentence.
Okay.
Danielle Dam is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Intentional.
Danielle Dam was. This is
intimidating. Hopefully not anymore.
With how you think people are seeing you now, and how you might want to be remembered. I don't know. It's kind of fun.
That is fun.
So, okay, why is life coaching a good option in general? So we kind of talked about that. You want to just kind of close out with that one?
Sure. So I think the whole purpose of our existence is continuous growth, right? We're constantly evolving. The second you stop growing, the second you stop expanding, you start contracting. When you contract, you shrivel up and die. Not to say that you're going to die if you don't hire me as your coach.
Not dramatic at all over here.
No. But the whole purpose of life is expansion. And the whole purpose of life is also doing that within a group and a tribe. And oftentimes, especially nowadays when everything is so digitized and we're so on our phones over Zoom, computer, and AI, right? It's important to get someone else's perspective that is not subjective.
Yes.
So to get someone who can objectively share questions with you that would help you open up your mind to see the world from a different lens so that you can entertain different possibilities in your life.
I love that.
I think that's ultimately
sold. So how I want to direct people to find you.
Okay.
Are you working with clients? And what capacity do you work with clients at the moment?
So right now I'm working with one-on-one clients currently. I am opening up my U2U.
And that can be on Zoom, correct?
Yes. One-on-one can be on Zoom. Right. And U2U is my group program that is going to be launching in November.
Amazing.
So it's a 2-month program, and it's setting you up for the new year.
Amazing.
So yeah, one-on-one or the UTU program. For the UTU, you'd have to wait.
Amazing. Well, if this podcast resonated with you guys out there, my worthy listeners, and anything that Danielle had to say resonated with you, please run, don't walk to work with her. She's incredible, supportive. If you need guidance in your life right now, if you're looking for that transformation, if you're looking for that push, that loving push, with a little bit of sass, that's all right. Please get in touch with her. She'd be happy to hear from you. So how can we reach you?
All right. So there are a couple ways. So the most fun way would be through Instagram.
Yeah, easy.
Where we can also share content and you can gain a lot of insight from there. And that is at Danielle_Coach Dam. If you're wondering why I pronounce my name Danielle, it's because I'm Brazilian. So
yeah, we're just learning this now today.
Yeah. But so it's spelled Danielle, DANIELLE_Coach Dam. Or you can also email me at Danielle@CoachDam.com.
Amazing. And we will put all of that information in the notes of this podcast. Thank you all for listening. And thank you again, my girl, for coming on. I love you.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Worthy the Podcast. Our goal is to build a community, and we do that through people like you who listen, subscribe, and most importantly, share with someone you care about. Be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening, as well as our YouTube channel. And if this episode resonated with you, leave a review. We want to hear from you. Thanks for being here, and remember, you've always been enough. Period. This podcast is meant to inspire and educate, but I am not a licensed therapist or medical professional. Everything shared here is based on personal experience and perspective, so take what resonates and leave the rest.